Hi, Jay here. Got Marie and Garrick in the background. Say hi.
Heyo!
Just finishing up editing this video you're watching now. And we just want to ask you to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And stay tuned for more episodes. And now, enjoy this episode of Good Soup After Dark. Hi, welcome to another episode of Good Soup After Dark. I'm tonight's host, Jay Gonzalez. We have Marie Ree behind the camera on the ones and twos. And we have a very special guest, pretty talented artist out of Delaware, White Tiger Loverboy. How are you tonight?
One and only. I'm good, man. I'm good. I appreciate y'all having me here.
Absolutely, man. And real quick, we have your camera there. Can you just tell the people where to find you?
You can find me on Instagram at WTLoverboy989. You can find me on all platforms as well. White Tiger Loverboy. We own it.
Nice. And how long have you been White Tiger Loverboy?
White Tiger Loverboy, I've been for about 2 years at least. But my first name was G West, so that was my name for about a year or so.
Any relation to Kanye?
No.
Well, where did White Tiger Loverboy come from?
Well, I put out a project called White Tiger Loverboy, and it came from just me and my friend just kind of making up nicknames for each other, just kind of boost each other. And a lot of mine pertain to like white, vanilla, white chocolate, thing like that. So then,
Kind of like a Vanilla Ice feel? Gotcha.
yeah, definitely. Yep. Vanilla caramel. But pretty much I was naming a project. So I went with White Tiger and then Loverboy because that pertains to most of the music that I make. And pretty much I was just like, okay, well, G West already has like 8 names under it. So I might as well go with something that's, unique to me, one of one. So it started out as just a project name, but it eventually turned it into my artist name.
Gotcha. And I'm sure if you Google White Tiger Loverboy, you're not going to find too many other people underneath that.
Exactly.
So that just kind of like sets you aside from the crowd already.
Right.
Now, how would you describe the type of music you do? Like, is it rap? Is it singing? What would you call it?
It's a lot of melodies and it's a lot of singing, but there's definitely a lot of like rap, hip hop elements to it as well. When it either comes to like the flow of what I'm actually doing, or when it just comes to like the production itself. I like to have a lot of hip hop influence. I just love 808s and hi-hats and that whole sound. And I just think like fusing different genres with that kind of like sonically pleasing percussion just sounds really cool. So I just try and find music that's like that, or my producers that I work with, they kind of set me up with my own sound.
Have you always been a singer, or like what's your musical background? Because did you just start only a couple of years ago, or like what's your history a little bit?
Yeah, so middle school, I played guitar for about a year. I didn't really take it seriously. And then eventually I switched over to like drum set and percussion, and I did that in high school. And from there, like I started to write like poetry and stuff in high school as well. And I was a part of the men's choir. Not for the right reasons, though. I kind of just did it just for girls, pretty much. It didn't work, but
So you did it for the right reasons. It just didn't get you the results.
yeah.
That's okay. I'm sure you're getting the results now.
I mean, look, tree doesn't come down unless you swing the axe multiple times. So
Never heard that. We're gonna keep that.
like I hear people and they're like, oh man, like this dude barking out this girl's DMs and all that. I'm just like, hey man, you gotta keep trying.
Yeah, they won't know you're interested unless you you let them know.
You got
And
gotta
so
do something, man.
when did you start taking like, because you said you started off with like poetry, and I guess that transformed into writing your own lyrics. When did that become like, I want to be a performer?
Ooh, that definitely took a while. Yeah, so it was like my senior year. I was starting some like kind of rap poetry, kind of somewhere in between. And they did like, what was it, like the coffee house. Just people could do like spoken word and just things like that. And that was kind of the first time I performed like a poem or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, okay, like this is kind of cool. So I had no like direction when it came to like wanting to rap or like record myself or anything like that. So I didn't really do anything with it after high school. And what it take, like 5 years probably until like I'd have like on and off like spurts of like writing and all that. And eventually I was talking to this girl and she was doing a good bit of like production and like engineering and stuff. And I was just like, oh, okay, you know what? I'm kind of, I'm going to get back into it a little bit, write a little something. And then as most situationships turn out, it didn't work out. And at that point I was just like, let me in the booth, bro. But I actually didn't know that I wanted to sing it either. I was just going to go for like rapping it, but I went to my friend's friend who's a rapper. Shout out Z-Wave. He was my first engineer, and I went to him. I was like, bro, I'm going to be honest with you. Because he was like, oh, like, send me the beats, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm going to be honest, man. All I have is some lyrics. I have no direction of what to do. And he's just like, all right, we'll figure it out. So he's like, what kind of beat you want to go for? I was like, I don't know. We go for like a Post Malone beat, or like I think we went for like a Future, like just something random. And we literally found one of the beats, and I was just like, okay. And I just started to mess around, like singing on it, and that was kind of the start from there. But to answer your question directly, so I started to write and just kind of record some songs, and then I started to go to open mics, and I got a lot of really good feedback on a lot of my music and just my voice and my presence and all that. And eventually found the TME showcases and all that. Shout out TME as well. And from there, it really just started to sink in of like, all right, this is kind of my sound. This is what I want to do. And then I think people started to gravitate towards that. I think it took a little bit at first, because I think it's definitely a sound that like most people aren't used to hearing. Mm-hmm. But like at that time I was doing some more rapping. So, I kind of did some of that, but also some singing. I was still really trying to figure out my sound too. But I think it was really like, I think 6 to 8 months in, and I was kind of just like, I'm an artist. Like, I'm kind of I'm kind of doing this. Like, I know, like, I really don't know, but I don't regret it at all.
Now, you said not too long ago that it's not really a sound that a lot of people are used to hearing, but you've had to have some influences. Like, what are some of your artistic influences?
Well, I would definitely say my influences, my inspirations. Freddie Mercury, he's definitely one. I think he's just a great musical mind overall. Chris Brown, love Chris Brown and his sound. Giveon, Post Malone, he's up there. I feel like I've taken, a lot of influence from a lot of different places as well. Like
It doesn't seem like it's stuck in one particular genre either.
Right.
Which, I mean, kind of lends to the whole melodic rap, just like the well-roundedness of it.
Right.
So that's pretty awesome that, you know, I mean, I was maybe wrongly assuming because like I've seen and heard you perform and like some of the songs you do use auto-tune. So I'm like, T-Pain, maybe a little T-Pain, maybe, come on. He was like the pioneer of this shit.
Definitely when it comes to that, like I would say that there's definitely some T-Pain influence, like more so the fact of like actually using auto-tune the correct way. Like, I'm not saying I'm perfect at all, but from what I've been told and what I feel like I use it pretty tastefully. Like I don't drown people in it, but you can kind of tell it's there to kind of just like make the vibe just more feel like a song, right? So but I like his perspective on it because he's just like a few years ago, he had that whole thing where like people are like, oh, he can't sing without autotune, blah, blah, blah. And then he was just like, okay. And then he just released like a bunch of songs without it. And people are like, oh my God, like he can actually sing. And it's like, yeah, because it's like, the thing is there's a difference between pitch correcting and autotune. Autotune is you are using a software that's going to help your notes stay in the key of the song. There are people that use that and it's just kind of cushioning what they're already putting out, which is kind of how I feel that I'm doing it. And then there's people that can't sing and that don't practice and that don't actually try to, or that don't warm up. And it's kind of just, you can tell that it's carrying the feeling and carrying their voice. So
you said auto-tune and versus pitch correction?
Yeah.
So is pitch correction like what you were talking about in the latter half of that, where they don't warm up or they're not well practiced?
Yeah.
And
so
please
like,
feel free to talk shop. Like this is all stuff that like we're interested in learning.
Yeah. Like there's definitely a difference of using it to your advantage and using it to make up for what you don't have.
Gotcha.
And it's funny because when you hear like a lot of radio hits and a lot of just like popular songs and people are like, oh, they're such a good singer. It's like, you'd be surprised about the amount of times that like, it's really the auto-tune that's carrying what they're doing. And when they actually like, you hear them actually sing and it's like, ooh, yeah, you definitely need it.
So it's more of a tool, should be used more of a tool rather than a crutch.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, I think every artist is different. You know, I think that's the beauty of it as well, is that, you know, there are times where it calls for a lot and it has a certain feeling. And then, you know, there's times where it's like, you don't need it as much. So definitely depends on like the user at the end of the day. But I feel like the people that use it as a crutch kind of ruin it for the people that are trying to use it artistically, because we know what it sounds like when someone can't sing versus with autotune versus someone who can sing and they do have autotune on their voice.
I'd like to talk more about like your influences and just like the artistry in general, but I do want to get to the main reason why we're here tonight. You have a pretty big event coming up next week, Friday, December 20th.
Yep.
You know, that's your camera there. If you want to like start promoting it, then we can just kind of get into detail about it.
I have a release party coming out for my upcoming project. I'll tell you when you're older. I have great artists opening for me. I know them all personally. Just really trying to showcase what we have as a state, but we're over at Base. Starts at 8. Well, no. Doors open at 8. Show starts at 9. It's about to be lit, but I'm just trying to create awareness for my new project. And also half of the proceeds are going to be going to One Village Alliance in Wilmington.
Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, love to. So they are like a community center in Wilmington, and they have a lot of programs that help young guys have like paternal guidance and, like different activities and just different things to help them, kind of have a father figure in a way, or a fatherly guide. And as we talked about, my projects about my dad and all that and that relationship. And I just want my music to directly impact people, and not that it hasn't already, but more so of like directly, like this is changing people's lives. So half the proceeds are going to them. Just really, really excited to do future events with them. We had a meeting the other day and just kind of talked about what the future could look like and all that. But she was really excited about the event and all that. She's wanting to put some promotion behind it as well. So it's definitely it's a weird position, like in a really good way. It's just like, for only doing this for like a couple years, I couldn't tell you that like 2 years ago that I would be throwing an event, my own event, along with half of it actually going to kids that didn't have what I had, don't have what I didn't have as well. And my dad was there, like he was physically there, financially supported us, but it was more just that emotional, father to son relationship that was a lot that wasn't connecting for a lot of reasons. But yeah, no, I just really want to help people out with my music. If I can help people heal from here, then, if I can have an event where that's also gonna directly affect people as well, then I mean, nobody can tell me that I haven't done anything with my music. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a long way from the mentality you had joining the men's choir in high school.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's pretty admirable, man. I like to talk more about like the music, and we've talked off camera, before this, and I want to start off with the single you put out a year ago. Do you want to get into that and how that inspired the current project you have going on now?
Yeah. So I dropped a single in November of 2023 called "The Way It Is." I wrote it about my dad, just talking about, like, in the song I say, "You might not be happy with how I put this. I never thought I could do this, but I have to tell you the way it is." Like if you want me to be honest and you want to have this open relationship and actually try to have some type of relationship, you need to actually settle on the fact that like what happened. And pretty much my parents were together for a very long time, about 30 years. And, without airing it out too much, my dad just made some decisions. And eventually my mom didn't want to stay. So they separated, and I just spent 9 years just really, really not liking my dad, to put it lightly. But, music's always been, my therapy in a sense. And I've never, at that point, I've written a lot of what I was writing about at the time. And I was just like, I want something a layer deeper than what I've been writing about, like something about my personal life. And not that all my music doesn't relate to my own life, but more so of like, like my upbringing and all that. So I recorded this song, wrote it, recorded it. I didn't even know if I wanted to put it out, but I had a conversation with one of my friends, and he was just like, we were just talking about music and everything, and he does music as well. And he was just talking about, you hold on to a lot of pain. And if you want to actually accept what's going to be coming to you, you need to let go of what's holding you down. So I kind of just talked about, my relationship with my dad to him. And he had a very, I don't want to say very similar, but, like father issues. And he was just like, you got to forgive him for your own sake. And the crazy part was that he had a conversation with one of our other friends about it, and his dad passed the next day. So it's like, he didn't get to have that conversation with him, and that just really opened my eyes to everything. And I'm like, oh my God, like I could be hurting for the rest of my life if I don't, even if he just says, what you're saying is wrong. I don't care. I don't want to ever speak to you again. That's not what any of it's about. It's more of, I want to put this weight down myself. I'm tired of carrying it. So I wrote down pretty much like 95% of what I wanted to say. I called my dad, and I was just like, hey, how are you? Blah, blah. And I was like, okay, well, I'm calling you because I want to have a real conversation. I want to give you my forgiveness, but the only way to do that is if I actually tell you how I really feel. So I just kind of talked about everything, and it wasn't mean. I wasn't mean about it because I wanted him to actually listen to what I was saying, because I feel like, if I'm trying to tell you, how I feel, and I'm just like, you're just a fucking blah, 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 you're automatically going to be like, all right, I'm not listening anymore. So I felt if I was going to do that, I just wait till the end, but I didn't. I just kind of went through everything, and I hung up on him. I was just like, you know what? I would let you talk, but you've had 9 years to say something. And I sent him the way it is. I sent him the song, and I was like, you can listen to it if you want. I don't really care if you do or don't. And then I just hung up, and he called me a day or two after and was just like, hey, when can you come by? Just want to talk about everything. And then at that point, I went over, we talked, and it was an okay conversation. Like there was a lot of deflecting on his part, and, just kind of not wanting to take accountability. And he would try to point blame in different directions. And I'm just like, you know what? This is not what this is about. I could have hung up on you 2 days ago and never talked to you again, and I would have been completely okay. This is more of, I'm telling you, you have my forgiveness. This is why. But if you do want to have this relationship, or if you want to try to have one, you need to know how I actually feel, because I don't want the dynamic of you're the dad and I'm the son. I'm Grant and I'm your son. At the end of the day, I'm still going to tell you how I feel, and it doesn't matter, because we're equals. And I guess, like, I feel like that's why a lot of people don't really confront their parents. It's because I feel like they just think, oh, well, I'm not going to hear what I want to hear. And I knew I wasn't going to hear exactly what I wanted to hear, but it was more so of, hey, I got it off of my chest. I can process it and I can get over it. But I made that song and I put it out. I've only performed it a couple times. It's not an easy song to perform. And I was just like, you know what? I feel like I got to double down on it. And I feel like I just want to put out a project just based about this. Because ironically enough, as hurtful as that song is, in a lot of ways, it actually healed me. So if the power of one song helped me heal from, that situation and gave me a relationship back with my dad, in some way, shape, or form, then what else can it do for everybody? What else is that going to do for me? Now that I'm officially putting all of it down, now I can actually accept what's about to come my way.
Do you feel it was easier to do it through your art form than it was to actually have the conversation? Because if I recall correctly, you called him and spoke to him, and then you said, "Oh, and here's this song." Like, was it easier to put it in song, or did like putting it in song make that conversation easier to have? I guess what I'm trying to do is connect the art to the healing.
No. I love that. I'm just trying to think. Honestly, I've never thought of that before. I guess it's just very like, I feel like both were kind of stepping stones in a way, because I feel like I've had these feelings for so long, and we've had like minor conversations about things, but not like a serious, like really sit down and talk. Well, we had one a while ago, but I wasn't like as old as I was when I had this conversation. So that other conversation, I was maybe like 20, and the other conversation I had, I was 24. So that's a 4-year difference. You're a completely different person at that point, aware of a lot more. So I think making the song definitely made it easier. I feel like it definitely kind of gave me the confidence to be able to kind of talk to him directly. Because as I said earlier, like, music is my therapy, and therapy is not easy. I'm in therapy now, and it can be hard some days, but at the end of the day, it's for the greater good of actually healing from trauma and things that happen to you. Because nothing that happens to you is your fault, but if you choose not to do anything about it, then what comes after that is your fault. And just based off family history and, kind of how both sides of my family kind of act, I just didn't want to repeat those same steps. Generational curse in a way. Not exactly the same, but more so of like the mentality. But I definitely think it definitely helped me create the confidence, even just subconsciously. Like, I've never really thought about that until you said that. So yeah, I would say it definitely does help, because I'm just like, well, if I can get it out and put it on this song, then, why can't I say it to him?
No, that makes perfect sense. And I guess like the question coming from me was just if I could get a little personal. Like, I'm a little bit estranged from most of my family.
Yes, sir.
And I'll say I had like kind of a cold upbringing. I've only started doing this interview stuff about a year ago, right? And up until that point, like personally, I found it like really hard to connect with people.
Yeah.
And we always talk about like how we fell into it. We're at an art show. We brought a camera. We were just going to take some footage. People thought we were media, so they wanted to interview us. So I just used my iPhone as a mic, put it in people's faces, and just like I started interviewing people. And then from that point, like I started going on YouTube and like how do you interview people? And like I said, we fell into it, and I found that like this is kind of my art form. Like I'm not a traditional painter like Marie is, or a tattoo artist like Marie is, or graphic designer. Marie does everything. Marie Art on Instagram. Quick plug, babe. Love you. But this is my art form, and I found that it's kind of, not to say that I wasn't a human, I'm not a person, but it makes me feel a little more human, like having these conversations. Part of me is a little ashamed that I have to do it in front of a camera, or like from behind the camera with someone else in front of the camera. Just like part of me is ashamed that it has to be in this way, that I'm learning how to do
just
that.
have, you could talk like this just off the camera.
Right. I find it easier now to do that.
Yeah.
Like I said, up until I started doing this, I found it pretty hard.
Right.
Like even with my day job, like I'm a cable guy, and like I found myself more trying to talk to my customers as opposed to just coming in, doing a job and leaving. So like I said, part of me, I guess like I was asking that question because like part of me, a small part of me hopes that like people in my family like come across this on YouTube or something and see that I'm not just like some stone cold estranged family member. So I'm not really like there in my journey yet to have a conversation with, quite frankly, any of them about this at this point.
Yeah.
And I mean, if they see this, they see this. If they want to reach out, 267-SOUP431. It's our company phone.
That's fine.
But yeah, no, I'm just kind of taking what you're saying to heart. I just wanted to share that. I don't know if there's really a follow-up question with that, but
Nah, I appreciate you sharing that, man, because honestly, I really do relate to that, because at the end of the day, what my dad did was wrong, and it sucks because his whole side of the family just we were just kind of cut off. And it's like, we didn't ask for this. You know what I mean? Like we were the victims per se, and we're the ones that get cut off.
yeah. I'll be the bigger person here. I think I kind of did a lot of the shit. Yeah, admittedly, I wasn't living totally right up until a couple of years ago. Coincidentally, when my lovely wife came into the picture. But
I know what you mean by, when it comes to the social aspect, because it's like, for me, it's like I watched my whole support system just gone. And if y'all watching this on Reels or anything, sorry, but that's just what happened. I don't know, bro. I don't know what to tell you. That's just what happened. They're sometimes not very good at accepting the truth about things. So
yeah.
At the end of the day, that's the way it is.
I'm excited to hear the full project, man.
I'm excited too. I'm nervous in like the best way possible, of just like, this is a different side that I'm putting out. And now it's like I actually have like a concept project. And I think what I want people to take away from it is that as you go through the project 1 through 6, I get stronger as I keep going in the song. So like the first song on it is called If I Were You. So that's me just kind of talking about, if I was him, things that I would do, things that I would say. And I think like the fourth song on there, Songbird, is kind of about like being authentic to yourself and kind of not letting like your past kind of hold you back from what's ahead of you, and just kind of being on your own in a sense. And then the last song is actually about my mom. And that's kind of coming from a perspective of like, I got to be strong for her as well. And my mom is my rock. She has pulled the weight of 100 men. And she was kind of thrown into a lifestyle of, you know, a lot of responsibilities that she wasn't, you know, fully doing herself. I mean, when you've been with someone for 30 years, you're so used to splitting up responsibilities. And now that she chose to leave, which was the good thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just me just saying, like, I'm gonna try to make you proud. You know, if there's a man you can trust, it's me, you know, because life's hard, man. Relationships are heavy. It's a heavy thing. And, you know, in that song, it's, you know, it's kind of just like I'm the man, you know, like I didn't have that, and that was stripped away from me. So I've had to become that myself. So it's like, I feel like as each song goes by and as that pain comes out, it's kind of also like I kind of illustrate like all this has made me stronger, and I'm still standing. I'm on the other side of this situation, which a lot of people can't really say at the end of the day.
The objective with this from the beginning seemed to be, more therapeutic for yourself, but do you find that, or do you hope that it helps other people as well?
No, I definitely kind of feel like now I have a bigger purpose, because I've had people reach out and just say, like, your music's got me through the day. It's, helped me process like past relationships or just situationships. I had a friend from high school text me a while ago. I was trying to find the text word for word, but he was just like, hey man, and keep in mind, he was a senior when I was a freshman, and like we just kept in touch, and he was just like, hey man, like, just keep going. Like, your music's really been helping me get through like my relationship with my ex, and it's just been kind of hard. And just kind of went into it a little bit, and it's just really like that's something that money can't buy. Like, something that turned out that I was just doing for myself turned out to actually help like another person. Yeah, I've had people tell me like crazy stories of like, oh, my ex and I got into this, and then a week later, he passed away or died in a car accident, and your music kind of helped me like heal with that, and it's just like some of the stories I've heard, like, it's just kind of made me like emotional, because I'm just like, dang, like that's me helping people in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah, no, it definitely has impacted other people, and I just love that I've barely gotten started, and that's already the direction that it's taking. And I think it's important for people to find their own form of therapy. Like, this is therapy for you, mine's music, and also going to actual therapy. And what sucks is that there's a big stigma about therapy as well, more so of like, oh, well, the therapist is just, going to tell you based off their bias of life, and this isn't that. And it's like, if your therapist is putting their full opinion into your session, like, find a new therapist, because that is not how it should be. They're there to ask you the pro and cons of doing this. What does this do as opposed to doing this? Or just questioning how you feel and actually helping you process your emotions. But they're just telling you, oh, we'll go and do this, go and do that. It's like, well, that's just being, they're liable at the end of the day. Unless it's like, like a life or death situation, then like legally they can say something at that point.
Sure.
But like, I just encourage people to just try different therapists until they find one that they click with, and just go from there, because I mean, it's definitely, as you said, Marie, like, there's never going to be somebody that's 100% perfect. We're human. We're naturally going to be flawed. But I think if we can get to a point of understanding, then I think that's what we should strive for. Because again, we're not going to be perfect. No one's ever going to, feel 100% happy all the time, or 100% sad, or, it's okay to not be okay in a sense. It's okay to actually feel your emotions, because if you don't feel your emotions subconsciously, you're just going to go right back to where you were. Like, what's kind of helped me grow as a person is like knowing the fact that like I can, like, I have the potential of hurting someone, like, emotionally, not like, oh, I'm going to go like stab this person, but like, I mean, that's the more extreme side of just like, I know that like my words can hurt someone's feelings. And because I'm aware of that, that makes me not want to do anything like that, as opposed to a person who's like, oh, well, I'm super nice. I can't do anything wrong. I can't do this. I can't do that. And then subconsciously, they actually end up doing the thing that they're trying not to do. It's kind of like self-sabotage in a way. So I think if, we can just all admit that like we're flawed, we're capable of hurting people, we're capable of feeling all these different emotions and being okay with that, then that's the first step to actually like understanding what's going on in here.
You're 25, right?
Yeah.
So when you started this journey, this career, your artistry in your early 20s, did you imagine that this is the direction you're going to go, from trying to attract girls from being in the men's choir to, I mean, you mentioned having a purpose.
Yeah.
And it seems like you find yourself being an advocate, not only for like, just like general mental health, but like just to really embrace who you are and embrace those emotions. Did you see yourself going in this direction? Or, okay. I mean, do you want to?
I don't know. I just feel like I've spent a lot of my life just being not myself and just caring too much about what people think, to the point where I'm not actually living for me. I'm living for other people. And, I think it's just gotten to the point where it's, I got to a point in my life where the weight of not being myself was more than being someone else for somebody else. And, I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't ever care about what people think, because
You're an artist.
I do. I'm an artist.
Yeah.
We definitely need some type of validation in some way, shape, or form. But I mean, most of my TikTok videos, like, I get people saying, stop doing this, or, oh, I thought this was a joke, or, like, mean things, man. And, like I've tried to range from engaging with the comments to kind of just liking it. And then now I just let people comment. I kind of read it and I'm like, okay. And I'm like, you know what, bro? Like, you can't be upset that 5 people are going to go under your post when there's 8 billion people in the world. I mean, it's just like, you're upset about 2 grains of sand in the whole beach. So that kind of helps me stay away from thinking negatively about myself, because at the end of the day, there's always going to be people that don't like what you're doing, no matter how good of a person or how good your intention is. People are people.
It feels like you understand for what you do this. So people who trying to become famous, what they do, they worry about what someone say about me. But person who know what with this art they want to talk to the audience, why they want to say, I care not about those comments. I care about people who comes to me and say, "Oh, this song remind me this," or "This song I listen when I'm sad," or "When I'm happy, I'm dancing on the kitchen and cooking and listen to this song." So it feels like you find the purpose of your art, and your purpose, it's not like I want to be worldwide famous. I want to do my art and talking through my art to the people who listen it and who the fans. So it's a fan of the art, not of the person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And, I mean, I definitely, I do want to get monetized, and I do want to, make money and live off of this. I mean, that's the goal. That's the dream. And it's going to happen. But at the end of the day, that's not why I made my first song. I didn't make my first song to be like, oh, I'm going to go viral with this and do this. And that was just me wanting to vent. That was just me. I got something to say. I know what I want to say, and I just went ahead and did it. So, I definitely think at the end of the day, you can definitely tell who's that kind of artist where, they just care about clout and they just care about validation and care about what other people think. But you can always tell when someone's an artist at heart, and it's like they don't care about, the glorified lifestyle that a lot of them, try to live and all of that, but just more so of like, I'm making music and whatever comes with it at the end of the day.
Like, I mean, like you said, like we want to be able to do this full time. I mean, do I have pipe dreams of being like filthy rich? Sure, just like anyone else. But I think like if we can like do what we're doing and enjoy what we're doing and have it like sustain our life, I think that's the
Made at that point.
yeah. And we're hoping we get there.
You will.
So if
just gotta
anyone wants to
talk it.
sponsor us. But no, in all seriousness, like I do like that you mentioned that, and like kind of getting into the social media a little bit, before we close it up. Like I see that you've been like really active lately. Is there like a specific approach that you take? Because I see that sometimes you put like either slogans or phrases that may relate to the song. Do you want to talk about like your approach to social media?
Yeah. So really, when it comes to that, back in the day, what you had to do is you go to radio station to radio station and performance to performance, and that was the grind right there. Mm-hmm. That's what you had to do to get yourself monetized and to spread awareness and all of that. And now it's just like we don't have that anymore. It's more so of it's on your phone. It's all
right
in the palm of your hand, literally. And really, I just feel like if I'm consistent with that, that's going to pay off, because that's how you get monetized. That's how you get bigger people to reach out, or you build a bigger audience and they want to, watch more of your videos or buy your merch, come to your shows. Like that's how you get there. And it's right in front of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People are just scared, for validation, and, they want to get a bunch of likes and a bunch of comments. But really what's important is that you're poking at the algorithm. That's what it is. It's just, even if 3 people like my video, I only get 70 views on it. One day, all of that's going to come back around, and the algorithm is just looking who's consistent, who's actually using this app. It's naturally going to help you out. It's naturally going to bring more engaging people and an audience to it. But more so of my process with it, I'll take music videos that I have out. I'll just take like little B-roll scenes and I'll just put like a caption on it. A lot of people really like those kind of videos where it's kind of just a 5-second loop of something and it just plays over and over again. People really like it. So, I mean, I just I'll put my music behind it. Music videos that I have, any like live performances, I push that out. I just really try to show like every side of the artistry rather than like, you know, like what a lot of artists do is, you know, they have a bunch of followers and then it's like they have 7 posts and those 7 posts are the most viewed and the most liked and, you know, all that. And it's just like, yeah, paid promotion does go a long way, but at the same time, like you want to still be consistent on the content. And that's what people look for nowadays is like, yeah, they care about the music and they care about, you know, the image, but it's just like now with how big social media is, it's like, that's the ticket right there. And that's what people care about. Like, they're like, oh, well, what kind of content does he make? What kind of this and that does he try to do? It's like people are always trying to look for something new, and people don't just want to see, you know, clips of your biggest moment. Like they want to see in studio footage and they want to see, you know, like a performance track or just showing off your artistry in some way, shape or form.
I wanted to bring up the social media because I guess like one last thing I want to talk about before we close this, Chameleon. You want to talk about that single? It seemed to be pretty special. I mean, it's kind of when I first started noticing you when you were putting out the content for that.
Okay.
And it seems like there's a very special kind of aspect to it as well.
Yeah. So I had Dave East is the feature on the song, and he reached out and was just pushing his brand, and I was just like, hey, like, how much for a feature? So we worked it out. I got the audio, and at that point, what I could really do with it was my engineer, shout out Reed Roman. He was able to make a beat around the vocals, because for me, I'm just like, look, I'm versatile. We really just got to go off the vibe that he sent. Mm-hmm. So at that point, he made a beat originally, and we came back to it, and he started to change it up a little bit. And I was like, hold on. I'm like, tell me if this is a little bit too much, but like, since the song is named Chameleon, why don't we have the beat kind of change throughout the song? And he was just like, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
And so we started to mess around with the different sounds and the different keys and stuff. And now when you listen to the song, it's all kind of just flowing, but it's changing like a chameleon. That's what I was going for. And so I hit up Ash the photographer, if you know who that is. Shout out Ash, and Loki Entertainment. They helped me shoot some like reels, TikTok content of just of that song. Just have some captions there, and then just keep pushing it. And definitely next year, I'm gonna definitely have some more promotion behind it, because I definitely feel like that could be a breaking song. That could definitely be a good solid track of people being like, oh, okay, you got a Davies feature, okay, all right, he's actually pretty good. And then look at all the other songs, and it's like, oh, okay, he's actually legit. So
and they might see how more versatile you are.
Yeah, exactly, right. Yeah, so I mean, I definitely after this project, I'm taking not a hiatus, but like not dropping as much music, because I usually do like once a month. But next year, I'm really just gonna have a lot of my songs. The beats are made for me, so I'm just trying to really focus on the production side, as well as just content in general. I mean, I have a lot of music out. And I just really want to be able to push a lot of that music, just so it's not going to waste. Not that it's going to anywhere, but just to make sure that it gets its due diligence at the end of the day, because I stand behind my art. So definitely want to make sure that I'm still putting the energy behind that, and then when it's time to drop that new stuff, I have content ready. I have A, B, and C already lined up. So I definitely just want to work on my approach more. I don't think what I'm doing is bad, but I always just want to get better at the end of the day.
Absolutely, man. Well, before we get going, I just want to give you the chance, just promote what you're doing one last time. We'll make sure we put links down in the bio below. Sorry. We'll make sure we put links down in the description below. But that's your camera there. If you want to tell the people where to find you and what to look out for.
Hell yeah. Y'all know what it is. White Tiger Loverboy in the building. You can find me on all platforms, White Tiger Loverboy. You can find me on Instagram at WT Loverboy989. Y'all, please come out to my show December 20th. I'll tell you when you're older. Release party. It's going to be a really special night. It's my first event. And I'm just excited to show the world what I got going on. I got another music video dropping by the end of this month for my song Brain Dead, shot by Schmoove Shots. Can't say that right. But yeah, just keep your eyes out. I got a lot coming, so I'm excited.
And we're looking forward to it, man.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
More picture time?
Go to sleep, I'll be back in the daytime. Nicotine, I know that's your favorite pastime. Stay with me, I swear this is the last time. I swear this is the last time. Sun sheets, now I'm touching on your skin. Don't leave, no I can't do this again. Stay with me, yeah I swear this is the last time. Yeah I swear this is the last time. Fucking feels like I lived 1,000 times. Try to fight the urge just to make it mine. Blood on my shirt, look like red wine. Let me on red. I do the same shit, 'cause that's the only thing that you can't.